So, Harsha, first and foremost, thank you for having me here. Really excited for this event. And if I start with my introduction, I am working as a senior data engineer into KPMG, and I have over 5 years of experience where I bring expertise in designing and developing large-scale pipeline, ETL workflows, analytics solution, and data warehousing architecture. I have been successfully delivering multi-terabytes and scalable data solutions while working into the organization. Apart from that, I love writing about the technical stuffs and technical things. So
Mm-hmm.
I do post certain things on about data engineering, about various cloud platforms on my Medium handle and my LinkedIn as well. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Great. Thank you so much. We are really lucky to have you as well. Jyoti, you're up next.
Yeah, thanks, Harsha, for hosting this. So I work as a senior data engineer in a pharma company, and I've been working in the pharma industry for all 6 years of my career. I work on mostly on the Azure cloud, but I also take care of the agentic AI platform evaluations and other platform evaluations for all the technologies that come in. And I'm highly active on LinkedIn. So in case you want any help, guidance, you have any questions, reach out on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Jyoti. Great to have you. Aditi, you're up next.
Cool. Firstly, thank you, Harsha, for making it so smooth for us and for the OLake for, you know, featuring this event. It's lovely sharing the stage with all the ladies over here. For introduction part, hi, I'm Aditi Katwani. Uh, I am data engineer by profession, but my journey into data engineering wasn't very linear. I actually started in QA, and over time, I realized that what truly fascinated me wasn't just finding bugs, it was understanding why the data flows, systems, insights, etc. And I would say what excites me the most each morning when I log in would be the opportunity to solve the problems of data, to optimize the systems so that the business team or the end user feels fulfilled. That's how I feel fulfilled in this profile. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, I remember the first time I got connected, I heard your story as well. And amazing, man. You're so passionate about the thing that you do. So great to have you here as well, Aditi.
Thank you.
Yes. The person I like, with whom this entire series got started. So Mitali, here you are. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Harsha. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me on the panel. So it's honestly insane how I met Sandeep from OLake last month, and here we are, doing a webinar. This is super amazing. So I work with Zach Wilson at DataExpert.io. We have a platform where we have a tech platform where we try to teach people data engineering and help them get jobs and get promoted.
Mm-hmm.
And so I joined as a data engineer, but because it's a startup, I kind of do everything now. So that's more about my role.
Yeah.
And so I have a very interesting story. I got into data engineering because of spite, because I used to intern as a data analyst, and my the insights that I would always have were always just like fall apart, right? They were always unreliable, or they were just
Mm-hmm.
not correct. And that was because my data was unreliable and I was not able to get access to the data because I was a intern. And I'm like, this is it. I cannot do this anymore. And then that's how I got into data engineering, because I understood that solving this problem from the root of it is going to be, how I can bring this change. And I got into it and I worked on it. I learned it and I learned it so well. And I loved it so much that now that I'm into like teaching it to other people and helping them grow their careers. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much for having me today.
Great to have you, Mitali, as well. So we also met Zach, for an event, and that's how we got to know more about Mitali as well. And she's doing some great work. And Mitali, I do understand and feel you, how you have to take multiple roles in startups, but it's equally fun, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. Thank
Great.
you.
Great. And yes, here's Tulsi, the youngest of all, but she is like, full of power and like, full of enthusiasm. So I was really excited to have Tulsi on board as well. So please, Tulsi, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. Hi Arsha. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And hi everyone. My name is Tulsi Thakur, and currently I am working as a data engineer at Amazon. Prior to this, I also worked around for like 1 year at ZS Associates. It's basically consulting firm. So there, primarily, I my role was data analyst, but primarily I worked on data engineering stuff only. So, really excited to be here and share the platform with fellow wonderful ladies, and looking forward to this event. And yeah, thank you for having me here.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and actually making this webinar truly special for me. And I suppose, like, for the people who have joined as well, because we saw a really positive response over on LinkedIn. So many people talking about it, and so many people registered on this platform as well. So, congratulations and kudos to everyone, I would say. And I'll just lay down the agenda. Let's keep this very simple. Let's like each deep dive into like what exactly like are the things that got you guys into data engineering, and how like people can get into engineering, data engineering specifically. I will ask you some introductory and foundation level questions plus technical questions to some of you. And what we can do is, if we have people asking questions as well, we can take them in the middle as well. How does it sound?
Cool, thumbs
Great.
Yeah,
up.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Great. I will see. Okay, we already have a question from the audience, but I just take the introductory question and then we can answer Akhileshwar's question as well. So the first question, I just wanted to understand from you guys, if you're passionate, if you're so passionate about data engineering, and as I was talking to you guys as well, about your workloads, what you guys are doing, you guys answered those with a lot of energy. So what is that one thing that still makes you excited to log in each morning? Like, what particular in your workflow? We can begin with anyone. So essentially, okay, let's go to the line of order that it shows on my screen. So Ria, you're up first.
Sure, Harsha. So the thing that excites me every morning to log in is, the dynamic and the impactful field this data engineering is, right?
Mm-hmm,
I still remember those days, when I was working as an application developer, and during that time it was a kind of growing buzz around the data engineering thing.
mm-hmm,
And during that time I started, why not to give it a try? And trust me, it turned out to be a kind of one of the most amazing decision which I have made into my career.
mm-hmm,
And as I told you, this field is very dynamic, and it's exploring, or I would say it's evolving each and every day. Every time, you will be coming up with new problems, with new challenges. And after generative AI, the technology or the new tools, like we are reading throughout the things that Databricks is bringing this specific thing about
mm-hmm.
generative AI and all those things. So yeah, it's something great. I would say, which encourages me every morning to log in, wherein I can implement new things or some kind of new stuffs into and play with the data and bring some kind of real insights to the business for sure.
Great. I mean, absolutely great. So Jyoti, what's your story?
Okay, I have a small anecdote for that. So, in my first year of that year, I was given a very small project to move just four PDF files from one system to the other. The
Mm-hmm,
source system was an S3 bucket, and then the target was one Azure Data Lake storage. And it took me hardly 30 minutes to set up that system, and that pipeline was used multiple times. And
mm-hmm,
during the year end, when all the great works of the year is appreciated for all the company members, I got a lot of appreciation made for that specific smallest work that I did for that year. And I was very curious of what's going on. Then I found out that before this automation, they would actually save those files in hard drives, and send it via shipments to another continent. So imagine the time, effort, cost that involved, and this just made their life easier. And that
Hmm.
was a light bulb moment for me. Like it made me realize that sectors like healthcare, which are research heavy but not always tech forward, they
Hmm.
really need tech talent to simplify their data workflows. So it helped me to learn how my work would support scientists in developing life-saving treatments. The more driven I become, knowing that this is for a purpose. So yeah, that's why I stick to this.
I mean, yeah, agnostic to whichever industry you choose. But if anything, if you find the purpose, like 90% of your game is already sorted, I feel, right? You
For
feel
sure.
motivated every morning to actually log in to actually work because what's your motivation behind it. So you wouldn't need any external forces to just get you up in the morning and make you do work.
Sure, tech keeps coming and going, given
Yeah.
the pace of technology we have right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, to the audience, when I was talking to Jyoti as well, she has one of the most inspiring, stories to get into data engineering and the stuff that she's doing at her company right now. It's also with the level of hard work that she has reached to the stage, I must say, really, I am proud of you. And I am sure the girls, if they listen to your story, they are going to be proud of you equally. So yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. Yes, Aditi, your turn.
Sure. So, for me, I would say I have two pointers here. First is data work is a detective work, right? And
Hmm.
we women are extremely good at detective kind of work, I would say, right? So, I was
Yeah.
naturally good at it while I was doing data testing as a QA person. I was seeing where the data quality issues are there, why data is not present in this respective table. I was already doing all those kind of analysis on my QA role, but I would say tech roles are pretty much back end work related things, right? And I wanted something which is uh, more of a front end role, not entirely front end or client facing like consultations and stuff, but kind of front end work plus techie. So I think data engineering perfectly fits in that sector. It's a
Hmm.
mix of tech and front end. Front end because we directly talk to stakeholders, business
Hmm.
problems and everything, right? And tech because then we go back and reverse engineer the business problems and build things. So it's
Hmm.
a perfect match for me personally, where I wanted something which is mix of business and data. So that's what inspired me to move towards it.
Great. I mean, actually, switching your jobs is not that easy, but the way you make it sound that's really inspiring. I wish, if anyone in the audience today who would want to explore data engineering but is not in the position to try out, that function as of yet, I think, they get inspired, and I wish they get inspired after this webinar ends, and also just get started with the workflows.
Definitely. I think I am here for the same purpose. I believe if I can do it, anyone can do it. No previous experience, no past role should stop you to move ahead with,
Hmm.
data engineering or any other role whatsoever.
Hmm.
No past resume, past experience should stop you from doing that. So that's what I stand for, and I believe the same. Yeah.
Ah, great. Awesome. Mitali, you are up next.
So what gets me to log in each morning is very different from these guys. I work in a very small company, and we do not follow any corporate environment, or our culture is very different. For me, it's like working with my friends, and why would you not want to work with your friends every day, right? So honestly,
Great.
that's just like, I'm like, okay, I have to get up and then do the work that I actually like and with the people that I actually like. So that's super important. And also because of the nature of the role that I am in, I get a lot of uh, autonomy. Like I can do the work that I want to do. I can find my problems. I can find opportunities wherein I can add impact and I can create business value.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to, that is very fulfilling, right? You get to work on things that are directly adding value to the company. And also because it's a startup, there is no proper documentation written, right? And you need to be working on things from your, like, from the scratch. So like just working on these weird bugs, I don't know where they come from, but like just trying to solve them and trying to just, get to solve different new problems every day is super fulfilling for me. And I thrive on that, right? Just getting new things to work is just like, yeah, I solved another problem, I got a positive reinforcement for it, and that's it. That just gets me going each and every day.
Great answer. I mean, this it's safe to say, like, this answer motivates me to work now. So I think, like, if I have this mindset, then I would want to work each day and each hour, like, in the morning. So I mean, great approach to it.
Mm.
But I'm curious to know, like, I mean, you are one of the rare people who said, like, I love solving bugs. So what's behind it?
Yeah, because I'm the one introducing those bugs, right? So I have to solve them. But it's also because, right, you understand, right? Like data is pretty much idempotent. Your pipelines have to be idempotent, right? So it will give the same answer today and tomorrow, right? It should not change. But then somehow I'm like, I'm getting a weird answer to this. This should not be the right data, right? So just going back and understanding what the problem was, solving it. And also because it's a small company, the duration that I take to fix bugs is super important because everything is super, super time sensitive. Because every time I write a code, I just ship it and it's onto the production now. So if I ship a bad code, yeah, I'm causing my company like loss. So that's like just super, it's just super rewarding when you do the right things. And that
Yeah,
just gets me super motivated to do the right work. Yeah.
nice. Really, I mean, this is great. Nice.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Tulsi, what's your story?
Yeah, so my story is like the fact that, we all must have heard that data is the new oil, like this quote. It's very
Hmm.
famous.
Yeah,
So, the fact that this is very true, provided even the Gen AIs which are, getting built up in today's world, even data, we need data to train them also, the historical data on which they get trained. So, like, I am very fascinated about this fact that no matter what profession you choose, what you do, you need data to get things done and to like keep the ball rolling, right? So this utility of the data and this data engineering domain, so my take on that is that it's evergreen, and
Hmm.
you need people to take care of it. Yes, a
Hmm.
part, a certain section can get automated, but you need people to get things done eventually. So like automating the whole thing, the whole process, it's like going to take a lot of time. So like I am very fascinated about this, and I get to learn new things every day. Like every day is a new learning. So that is also very like exciting for me because I want to learn as much as I can. So like these two things are mostly like which gets me uh, I mean gives me the motivation to get up early in the morning and then actually get like start my day. So like these are the things mostly, and apart from that, I think obviously, as I think Ria also mentioned, that the scope of this domain is not only limited to data engineering domain. You could be a data engineer, but then you could also work as a SDE, provided the kind of work that you do. It's like not only like JD is not there, you know.
Yeah.
So that is also very fascinating that you are not limited and you could be doing many things. You could explore many things. So that is another thing. So yeah, that's my story.
I mean, yes, absolutely. And the quote that you use, like, just in your first sentence, data is the new oil. Like, I think everyone would agree with this. Like, whichever function, like, might slow down because of introduction of AI, but as and when, like, people increasingly use AI, we have more and more data with us. So, of course, this is one industry that is taking, like, rapid growth, one of the fastest, I believe. And the reasons are very simple and reasons are very there at the gate. So yeah, I mean, okay. Guys, thank you so much for this question, and I have received a lot of questions which you guys can also see. So I mean, let's also pick up the questions from the audience. After just one question that I have with me, we will be over with the introductory questions, and then we can answer the audience questions, and then we can get into the technicalities of the conversation that we want to have. Okay. So, yes, I was also curious about one thing. So, as a role, as a part of my role, I also talk to a lot of data engineers, understanding, what's in their workflow, what is going on, what problems they are facing, what exactly is their pain point, and how we can solve it as well. So, uh, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, great. So, I mean, I have also received a lot of diverse questions, diverse answers around data engineering as well. And I see, people are still not very clear about, what is in this industry and what this industry has to offer yet. So just an open forum to understand what is that common misconception that data engineers still face a lot these days, or you might have faced in your career right till now. Anyone whoever wants to answer this question can just unmute themselves and answer.
I think I can go ahead.
Sure.
So I would say, based on my experience, one thing which I really struggle with, where we are still lacking behind, would be we undersell ourselves a lot. When I say undersell, we just say, what do you do, and we just tell about we move data from one place to another. It's just not that. We as data engineers, we do much more than just moving data from one place to another, right? We build these systems, optimize them for the cost, revenue, so that the respective end users, stakeholders can build visualizations and everything. It's much more than just moving the data. We build the data models. It's everyday process. So I think we undersell ourselves a lot when we say that we just move the data. I think that line should be changed, and many more KPIs should be added there.
Hmm. Makes sense. Anyone else wants to add on this?
Yeah, so as Tulsi said, there is no JD for this role, right?
Hmm.
So, if I have to explain anyone in single statement what data engineering is, it's about building trust in data and not just pipelines.
Hmm.
So, whatever the data is, wherever the data is, to make people believe that data is correct and they can utilize it even for business decisions or cost decisions, or if they have any other kind of decisions based on whichever industry it is in. To have that trust in data is where the data engineer's role comes in place. It's not a delivery service moving data from A to B.
I absolutely agree. I guess Matali, you had something to add on as well. You also unmuted yourself, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the thing that comes to me most about data engineers is that, oh, I know SQL, can I be data engineer? Like, yeah, SQL is super important, super, super important, but it's not the only tool in the data engineering toolkit that you need to have. There are a lot of other tools and technologies that you need to be uh, knowing before you call yourself a data engineer. A data engineer in today's world with just SQL is not a data engineer. So that right, learning a lot of other tools is also super, super important.
Valid question. And that brings on to my next question, which a member asked. Just a second, I will open it. Yes. So Chaitra asked this question. There are so many tools and technologies to learn in the field of data engineering. Where do I start? What should I focus on? So anyone who would want to take this question.
Can I go?
Yeah, absolutely, Dulci.
I want to answer this question because this is a very relevant question, and I can relate to this because when I was preparing for it back when I was in college, so I also struggled with this. So, I think based on my experience, I would say, mostly we deal with data, and like that is stored somewhere. Like most of the times, it is stored in DBMS, like relational database management systems, or So I think I would, if I have to answer this question, so I will say start with the database concepts. Mostly in industry, people use the relational database. So start with that. We have SQL and NoSQL. Also, you can start off with that. You can start with a scripting language. Mostly people start with Python, because that has a very heavy use case and it's easy to learn as well. And SQL, as Mitali said, like that's like the bread and butter no matter what. So if you have to get started off in this domain, so like these will be the most important things. Apart from that, Excel or like Google Sheets, people also suggest, because you have to sometimes analyze the data on it, and that's very much used. So yeah, like if you are clear with these basic things, then I think you should be good to go. At least you should be good to start. Yeah.
Um, I would also like to add a little bit because I feel this is right up my alley because we do data engineering courses. But yeah, so what Tulsi said, definitely those are the starting points. But also understand that learning, if you're trying to get towards a data engineering role specifically, learning about data modeling is super, super important. I feel this is the one skill that I cannot stop talking about that you need to learn if you're trying to interview for a data engineer position, because of course it's going to be asked in every interview round, but also this is very important, right? So when you learn SQL, you learn about and you learn about the relational databases, you also should learn about how you can model that data set and how you can create your own relational database, right? So that is super, super important when it comes to talking about these skills, right? And think of it as a
Hello,
capstone project or as a project.
am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So when you try to think about the skills that you need to have, try to think of it as a project, right? End to end. So first thing that you need when you find any data set, right? You need to model it and then you need to run ETL pipelines in it and so on and so forth, right? So I think that would be the first step where you can start and then go from there.
I would also like to add something. So, what Mitali and Tulsi has mentioned, apart from this, learning basically, data engineering is something you will be dealing with a humongous amount of data, right? So, at last, you have to be aware about a kind of technology which should be able to handle that entire data, where you can do parallel processing of the data in order to deal with that terabytes, or I would say petabytes of data. So that is also one key thing, one core skill that every individual who is looking for their career into data engineering should hold on. And one more thing which I would like to add on, let's say if you are into your starting stage of your career, right, then it's not mandatory for you to have a kind of data visualization skill that comes to your way later. But like initially you have to focus on the data engineering tools, that is the ETL tools. Python, SQL are must, right? And again, Spark you can go with, because that most of the organizations are using Spark nowadays, right? So you should be aware about the core concepts of those things.
One last piece I'll add is data engineering also include a lot of unstructured data. All these data models and computes are great, but the actual real world data that you get is usually unstructured or semi-structured. So to understand how to transform that into a structured database is also super important. Otherwise, most of the data that you're collecting would go into waste.
I agree, and that is why we are making a tool as well. But like, let's just answer the questions, and then I'll come to that. Aditi, you wanna add, or anyone who wants to add on this?
Uh, I think all the points were valid. Just one thing from mine. Um, when it comes to learning, I would say follow it as a project specific approach. Do not just directly go and learn Python or SQL. Choose one data set. Think, see what data set is, see what answers, what business use cases fits in, and then start building. Because when you build it as a project, you learn more. You'll get the hands-on experience as well, rather than just learning SQL and Python independently. Do it as a project specific learning. That will really help.
Makes sense. Uh, Chaitra, did you get your answer, or do you want to add on something? You can type it out Would love to know more. Okay, till the time she's doing it, we'll take one more question from the audience. So, yes. Here, Debanshu asks, what skills or projects should I focus on in college to become a strong candidate for a data engineering role after graduation? Anyone who wants to answer this?
I think from technology part, we already answered that question with the previous one.
Hmm.
But if you are trying to build projects in your college days, first decide which industry, which sector you want to be in, be it retail or be it aerospace or whichever, and then take data sets related to that from Kaggle or any open source. Most of the data sets that are available will also have solutions available with it. Go through it, understand it, and then think that what different you can build instead of what is already available. That really opens up your brain onto what the theoretical concepts are and what the real world problems are, because from college to job, that's the main shift that needs to happen from a technology or database thinking to a problem statement thinking and problem solving thinking.
Hmm. Great.
Um,
Anyone? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, another short thing to this is, as Jyoti said, right, find your industry that you want to work in and go to any job posting platforms, right, be it LinkedIn or Indeed or whatever. Find five job postings that you think are, ideal job postings, and this is where you would want to work. Get their job descriptions, ask ChatGPT to find the common skills and tools, learn those skills and tools, and make sure you put them on your resume, top highlighted. And also your experience, if you do not have experience, as you mentioned, you're just a college graduate, make sure your capstone projects should show that you can work with those skills and you can work with those tools. And that is how you can show the most impact, by just your resume and just by having like no proper work experience.
Hmm.
I would like to add one very insightful thing which even I use for my interviews. Since we are living in an age of I would say when you're preparing for the interviews or for data engineering altogether, whenever you apply for a specific company, let's say it's Uber, it's Paytm, it's any domain, whatever industry you're interested in, you can go to ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT, I'm trying to apply for this specific industry, which is logistics or finance, and ask the AI to tell you, give the data set to me and help me with the data modeling. It'll give you the data set. It will help you with how to do the data modeling, what business use case it can solve with that specific data set. And then if you ask further questions related to those data sets, like what are the SQL questions that can be asked regarding this data, what Python questions can be asked, because I've usually noticed whenever you're applying for any specific industry, let's say finance, sports, mostly the questions which come in for SQL and Python are related to their specific project and their industry. So that's where you can tune into AI and
Hmm.
prepare really well for that specific industry.
I have one another cheat trick that is super helpful, that has helped me, and I think that is going to be super helpful. So, if you're working on projects, right, find a project that you actually really like, which somebody has already done. Let's say you find a project in some sports domain, find a similar data set which is in a different, which is for a different sport, and try to replicate that project, because it's going to be a different data set. You cannot copy the entire exact code. You will need to customize it, but then you will also get, if you're stuck anywhere, you'll get a way forward that this is how you can go. And this is the easiest way that I know that you can work and create amazing and your, like, quick capstone projects. So definitely, right, you can use AI to optimize your project and just, like, yeah. So I think just having some project to base off on your project, this is going to be super helpful.
And one last thing which I would like to add about is, in interviews, technical things comes later, but the initial question which they gonna ask you about your project, right? So you have to be aware about what goes end to end into your project. You have to be aware about what is the entire architecture of your project. The questions, let's say initial 5 to 10 minutes of any interview will be what kind of data you have dealt with, right? What is the size of the data, right? And who's the end user, and all those kind of questions you will be dealing for sure. So let's say if you are replicating any kind of project, so just make sure you are aware about everything in and out about that specific project. Otherwise, it would be difficult for you to handle those questions into the interview for sure.
Makes sense. Anyone is left to answer on this, or should I just move on with the question? I guess we are good to go. Yes. I feel you got your answer as well. Yes. Yes, we answered to Debanshu's question. I hope Debanshu you received your answer. If not, you feel free to ask a follow-up question as well. Okay. I am loving the the questions and the enthusiasm that people are showing in. So great. I mean, this is really nice. We'll take next question from the audience only. So yes, it's from Akhileshwar. How to learn storytelling in data engineering or as a data engineer. Yes.
Okay, let me take that up because I am doing that only for
Yeah,
most
I
of
was
my job role.
about to mention. Jyoti, do you want to answer this?
Yeah. So, what happens is when you start as a data engineering professional, first you are given a data set that is prepared or just needs some brushing up and work around that. Then comes the second stage in your career when you are given a technical problem statement that you have to solve, and you just collect the data around it and solve the problem. The third stage comes when you have to do the storytelling, where the business itself doesn't know what they require, and they would just say, "I am working on something. This is not the way I want. Figure out something for them." So you first need at that time you I would say you can follow the design thinking principles that really helps. So one of the easiest way to get about that is do some customer interviews to lay out whatever their problem statements are, be it anything. Don't prioritize, don't do anything, just lay out what the problem statements are. Once you have the problem statement, then think what the independent solutions of each problem statement should be and try to draft it. Suppose they are looking for a dashboard, don't build the dashboard completely. You can just create a wireframe or pencil sketch and show them that this is how it's going to look. And if you click on this portion, it will go to this different portion. And that way you can explain them that how each individual pieces would look, and then they would be able to help you explain their problem statement more clearly. Once you have that, then you can create a entire journey of think in a way like how the customer will interact with your system. For example, they are going to one of the system and they are logging in. They want to allow everyone to have access, or you want specific authentication methods to be implemented. Then comes whether, even if that person is part of the organization, whether they should have access to the system or not. When you work on high compliance or regulatory projects, even in the company itself, not everyone is allowed. So then there is a second level of authentication that is required. Third is whether the user would be able to figure out where to click and how to navigate your website, or you need to give them instructions on it, and how descriptive those instructions should be. And then when it comes to testing, we all know there is A/B testing tools, or normally whatever your automation tools are, just to understand how cluttered your dashboard look or how easy it is, and then what's the final output that is getting out of it. And this would require you to have like a 1 year roadmap to understand what would, because this is a complex process, right? It cannot be delivered in 2 months or 3 months. So you need to build a roadmap on what can be delivered when and what our end goal looks like, what would be your every quarter or every month deliverable, what features they will be able to achieve, and then take help from the business to understand what is the priority of this. I think that answered it.
I mean, I must say this is really helpful to me as well. I mean, I'm not a data engineer. In fact, I'm not an engineer at all. But the roadmap and the things that you have said just now, it also gives me a clarity about if I am overwhelmed with all the new things that are coming up in data engineering, and I'm working at a data engineering startup, right? So how to actually tackle that and how to understand that all these things without getting overwhelmed, because I'm from a different function altogether, but it is also a part of my role which I'm totally very excited about as well. Data engineering, learning more about it, and also talking to more people, to have an idea what's going on. So this answer actually helps me a lot as well, so thank you so much, Jyoti. Anyone anyone who wants to take up or add wants to add something on this?
I think I'll just add one thing. Like Jyoti already has explained everything exhaustively. I'll just
Mhm.
say, like, whenever, like, storytelling means that you have to be firstly very clear of the fact that for which customer you're building the data for. And for that, you need to think of yourself as the customer, that you will be using this data set only. And
Mm,
then you have to backtrack. Okay, so if I want this data, how do I want to consume it? So like if I am the customer, right, if I am the consumer, so by what method I want the data to be available to me, like which is going to be very effective for me, instead of, oh no, I don't want to, follow this method, it's going to be more technical. So not like that, but to like do kind of reverse engineering. Okay, if the customer wants it, so what will be the most easy way for the customer to utilize it?
mm.
So when we like do this and we think ourselves as the customer, and then we like build the solutions accordingly, so firstly that has great impact. And also when we are very clear of like why did I choose this method and not that, then I think it becomes very easy for us also to like narrate the whole story. Like when we are clear in our head, okay, if I'm doing this, so why not this, right? So and for that we need experience, because we need to know, okay, what are the different or all the possible solutions. So as Jyoti said, that comes like that is a slow process. You need to know what are all the methods, and then you choose which is the optimized method. So to be like to know all like solutions and to be clear with that, I think that will come with time. Storytelling will come with time. So I think most important thing is to like just learn and then like follow this approach according to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, absolutely. Anyone who wants to add on this, or we are good to go? Okay, so we are good to go. Thank you so much, Jyoti and Tulsi, to answer this. This was super helpful, as I said. Okay, we have other questions. I will take Rebe's question next. What does a day in data engineering role looks like?
Okay, so I will start with this. So every time you logs in, every day you logs in, your mailbox will be full of emails for sure. The reason is very simple. Either any of your job has failed, pipeline has failed, or you got a kind of new requirement from the business to work on, right? Or there is a kind of meeting set up to understand the data to with the users, business analyst. So that is one thing. Your first job, your first thing of the day to do is just go through your email box, just check on the emails, what all emails you are having on, right? And then you will be deciding upon your day, what are the things, what are the priorities you have to take on and you have to work on. And again, the things, as I told you, first thing will be, if it's a kind of critical job, you have to solve it within the given SLA. That is the kind of key thing. If the job is not critical, then yeah, you can divide the things among your peers, and then you can start up with something new. Or also I have seen, sometimes you have to spend hours in doing a kind of research in finding out the optimal solution for any kind of problem which is there, right? And you have to just go to the business users with the kind of options that, okay, these are the certain things which can solve the problems. But again, you have to go with the pros and cons. So it's a kind of, I won't say it's completely a technical job, but yeah, it's a combination of technical plus R&D as well. that also plays a key role into your data engineering job.
I completely agree with this. Yes. Come on, guys. Who's next?
I can go next. Um, I would say a standard day in data engineering, like person's life, would be either fixing the pipelines or fixing the data issues or communicating to the respective business people or stakeholders. Also, you'll have 4 5 things as priority. So when you know that you have everything is a priority, means nothing is a priority basically. So you need to go back to your product owners, your managers, to understand that I have these 5 6 things in my bucket. What do you think is the number one thing I should focus on? Because that happens a lot with data engineers. Some data issue is happening, some job is failing at the same time. So you need to go back to the respective managers or product owners and understand what is actually important for today, and then set those 2 3 days, 2 3 things in your daily task activities, and just do that. Because I'm very sure that all of us would have faced that there are a couple of things which we need to fix, but based on my experience, what I've noticed is when a lot of things are failing at the same time, usually it's a tech debt. Usually it's a tech debt which will not be fixed in a day, which somebody has to take it up. But it's all about prioritizing your day and setting the long form solutions in the place. That's how the day usually goes by.
Nice. Who's going to go next? Or Ria and Aditi, they have actually said all said an answer for all data engineers.
I'll just
Um,
add
I
a
just
small thing. Okay, sorry.
Jyoti, you can go first.
Okay. So, as Ria said, every morning when you log in, you get a lot of mails and alert notifications and everything. So, I'll give you a hack for that. Always segregate your folders. Your inbox, have a separate folder for all the alerts, mails, notification that comes, and it should not be your primary inbox because you don't want to be losing sleep on that mail notifications. First thing in the morning when you log in, take 1 hour, see whatever the alerts are. If there is any failure, note it down. Don't immediately start working on it. Keep it as a priority task for the day, but make a list what all are there. And in the morning when you log in, first um, 2 3 hours you have the energy to work, right? So after you have checked your mails, prioritize what all issues needs to be looked into, keep it separate, and then have a 2 hour or 1.5 hours focus block on your actual deliverables, which you anyway have to deliver if the issue comes or not come. So keep that focus work, all devices aside, just you and your codes, your pipelines, everything. Take a break after that and then look at what your priority tasks are. Can you delegate them or you should take it up? If you don't have any issues for that day to look into, you can use that time for researching or doing business interactions to understand what is required. Because after you have taken a break, you have that fresh mindset to look again into issues or research on something new. And then again, towards the end of the day, whatever your housekeeping tasks are, like checking the pipelines that did not give you alert mails, are they still working fine or not? Or if there are stand-ups or mails to send, reports to send, the last 1.5 hour of the day goes into that. So that's typically how the day is when it's structured. Otherwise, it's chaos.
Okay, it's chaos everywhere, it seems like. Yes, Madali.
I just wanted to say that sometimes it's just chaos what Jyoti just mentioned. So yeah, that's all.
I mean, I do relate with this. It's very much chaotic, and I'm learning to just give structure to my job and organize my roles. But it seems like I'm so comfortable in a chaotic environment created by myself that if it's all organized and structured, it gives me some sort of restlessness. So it's about how you want to do it. I feel this is how you want to take your workflow, and what does your task or a day in your function looks like. It's also a subjective answer, because people are different. People have their individual techniques to handle pressure, work. So yeah, I mean, so actually, I'm curious about it. What do you all feel, is data engineering, does data engineering come with a lot of pressure on you? Like, you can just use your personal experiences to answer this as well.
uh, I would say, not every day is, like there are some days wherein you do not have much work to do, but there are certain days wherein you have to extend your work hours and to fix do, if it's a kind of critical failure, then you have to fix in. But yeah, again the things comes is, you have to manage your work. That will be the kind of first thing, because as Aditi mentioned, if the failure has started, let's say if you have five pipelines that got failed and all of them were critical, then in that case your head will be like from where to start with, right? So it's again, reach out to your manager, just get it sorted, that from where you have to start it. So I would say not much, but yeah, you have to, if you are the one who want to just get yourself satisfied with the thing, that okay, the kind of work I'm doing is okay, I will be getting a learning from the work. So that is a kind of partial truth, I would say. In the data engineering domain, along with your day to day job, it's your responsibility it's your duty to learn something new. Let's say if you're a day is there, in your current organization you are working with the batch load, right? There is nothing to do with the real time streaming, right? Then in that case it's your duty to learn the real time streaming as well, because some or the other day you will be dealing it with it for sure. So work pressure, I would say it's not that much, but again, if when you combine the work and the learning, it's again, you have to devote around 8 to 10 hours a day for sure in order to do the things.
Yes, absolutely. Anyone who wants to add on, or should we move on to the next question?
I'll just add one thing. So, like Ria just mentioned, so like asking for help is definitely like one of the things which I realized it's very important. And like sometimes we feel, no, I'll be able to do it. Just I'll devote some time. But I think asking for help from seniors is very important, because the pressure comes when, see, when you are like approaching things with the learning attitude, then it's fine. You don't feel that much pressurized. Like obviously you will have some pressure when you have to meet the deadlines and meet the SLAs, but I think mostly, like from my experience, I used to feel pressurized when I was in this headspace that I have to do everything on my own and I'm not allowed to ask for help. That creates even more pressure, and that is unnecessary pressure which we create on ourselves, that is not required. So I think that's why we can reduce the pressure. Obviously we cannot eliminate it, but we can reduce it by asking for help and stop hesitating. Like that's something which I realized very later, like late. But yeah, that's very important according to me. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That actually, a standard answer for every professional out there in the world. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. Uh, yes. Anyone else? Okay, we are good. So it seems. One second. Yes, Tejasri. Yes, Tejasri has some confusions around what actually a data engineer does. So if anyone would want to just volunteer and answer the role of a data engineer in the most simplest form for Tejasri, that would be great. Who would want to take this up?
I can take it up now.
Absolutely, Aditi.
Okay. So I'll talk in a very layman language. So data engineers provide data as a product. So we data is a product for us, right? And we provide it to three kind of people. It can be the business teams, stakeholders who build the visualizations and everything. Second, it can be data scientists who are modeling their respective algorithms. Third, It can be any other downstream team in middle or the end downstream team who are just using our data, right? So these are three kinds of end users which are utilizing our data which we are providing to them as a product. And how do we do it? We do it by building a very strong data infrastructure where that data infrastructure works as a backbone of this whole data driven company. And we integrate a lot of systems together. We schedule the jobs, whether it's real time data or batch, depends on the business case and how the teams want to use it. We build the backbone and integrate everything together to provide the data to all these three variety of end users.
Yeah, I hope, Tejasri, now you get it. If you do have any follow-up question, happy to answer that. I will just take other questions as well because we are, yes, we are going to extend the time. So what I'll do is I'll not take my question, but let's just take the audience's questions. So Prerna here asks, she belongs to pharma background and have 1 year course acquired in AI ML, but have no experience. I want to start up with data engineering field and provide my inputs in this field. Please help me how to start and proceed ahead with it. I feel we have already answered this question, Prerna. You might have missed it, missed out on it. Still, I am going to ask the panelists if they would want to, just answer it simply or just add on to the previous answers that we gave. If not, then definitely, we can take this up in the recording as well.
Let me add some specifics from the industry, just because I'm aware. Okay. So, what happens is when you work in pharma industry, the data standards or the formats that we get is very different from the usual ones. Usually, you will get JSONs or CSVs or the structured database. When you work in pharma, the type of data sets you get, they are very native to the industry, like DICOM images. You someone on your family or someone must have gone for X-ray or scans, right? Those images that you see of X-ray and CT scan, those are actually structured data. We don't realize it, but those needs to be processed as structured data, pixel by pixel. It is that, or if suppose you are working on predicting a tumor in a scan, that is the kind of data you get. So having that background helps you very easily translate the business problem statements to technical problem statements to tell your tech team what the data is. And we all know the importance of metadata, how having a rich metadata helps solve half of the problems that we have without looking into data. So when you have this business context or the industry context, you can always add to the master data management or MDM that we call, or you can add the lineage of the data, which really helps the engineers to build systems that are robust in nature.
Hmm. I feel, Prerna, you might have gotten your answer. So yes, last question we are going to take from Chaitra before we conclude. So we answered the question. We answered her question, about the tools and how to start on it. So she has said, I have learned Azure. Would you suggest learning AWS and GCP? Also, how important are certifications? I mean, I guess, Mitali, you can answer this since, you began your data
Yeah.
engineering journey from a boot camp. So yeah.
Right. So definitely certifications will help you out, but also understand that certifications are not the only thing that are important. So because most of these certifications might be super, super expensive and you don't want to invest that much money in getting those certifications, that's okay, right? That's not complete like that's okay if you don't have a proper certification to it. And if you've learned one cloud technology, right? You've mentioned you've learned Azure. That's super good because all of these technologies essentially are the same thing. There's just by different companies, right? So if you learned one technology, try to build a project on it. Try to have some solid capstone that you can showcase your skills, right? Because if you want to switch to GCP, it's going to be very similar. You will probably take one fourth of the time that you took to learn Azure to learn GCP, right? So it's going to be very similar. But also understand, right? If it okay, so if you have a dream company and like this is the company that you want to work at, let's say you want to work at Google. Google's not going to hire you if you just know Azure. So, right, you will need to have GCP on your resume. You would need to have some concrete experience with GCP before you can apply to Google. And that is what you would need to understand, that which is the industry that you want to work in, what is the company that you want to work at. So try to optimize your skills to that particular industry or to that particular company, and then you can work on those. Otherwise, having just one cloud technology should be more than enough, because if at all you get hired into a company which uses AWS, that's completely okay, right? You can easily switch to AWS because you understand the basics of cloud technology. You just need to understand that it's a different tool, and that is all that is different. The functionalities and the services that they will be offering are pretty similar. So yeah.
Sure. I feel we are done with this question. So, as a part of an the concluding question, I'm still there in the introduction section. I mean, I can't believe 1 hour has just gone by. But yes, I mean, I just want to understand. So I mean, with the roadmap and with with the road that you choose, for your career path and the decisions that you take, one very important thing is a mentor, right? A mentor always changes and gives more perspective. So what is that one piece of professional advice that you might have gotten from a stranger or a mentor, that just helped a lot in your career development in data engineering? Anything that you would want to share with us so that we can also just get insights from that?
I can start.
Um,
Okay, Jyoti, if you want to go, you can.
Totally. Ria,
uh,
you can take it first.
Okay, sorry, it was Mitali. Sorry.
No problem.
Uh, yeah. So the one piece of advice, which really changed my perspective towards the data engineering, during the initial days of my career, I used to just solve the problem that, okay, I have got an error. My problem is just to fix this bug. I generally don't think about the optimization of the thing, right? Or how scalable that specific solution could be moving forward when the larger data set comes in, right? So just have this thing in your mind that if you are solving any kind of bug or you are building any kind of solution, just don't solve it for the purpose that you just need to address a business issue or you just need to do the things. Keep the thing in your mind that you have to design a kind of system. You have to solve this problem with the approach that it should be scalable enough. It should be able to handle the large size of data set. Let's say today you are getting around 1 GB of data, but the day can come wherein you can get the data around uh, 20 GBs. Then in that case, if your solution fails, then it's a kind of complete failure for you, right? Because again, you have to devote your time to solve that specific bug. So design a solution with a thing in your mind that it should be scalable, it should be optimized, and it should be something with which should be able to tackle, or which should be kind of ever growing thing, right?
Hmm,
So that is one advice which I would like to give to any of the aspiring data engineer.
great. Yes, Mitali.
I think most of the people who join today are in the early stages of their career, right? So one very, very important piece of advice is do not be afraid of rejections, right? When you're applying to different jobs, because first of all, if you're getting rejected, that is not completely on you. Sometimes it's just the nature of the job, right? Because if two or more people are interviewing for the same job, of course somebody has to get rejected, and if you are getting rejected, that does not mean that you are not qualified enough. That just simply means that you probably didn't schedule your interview soon enough. So whenever you get any interview calls, take the first slot available, even if you have to take leaves from your work, from your university, sit, study, give your interviews, because the schedule in which your interview, in which the schedule of your interview is super, super important and it matters a lot. Even in big tech companies, I'm sure these girls would be able to help you with those insights better. But from what I know, definitely schedule is important, and do not feel sad if you get rejected, because sometimes it's not even on you. Sometimes the position just filled internally, and that's not in you, right? So do not get disheartened. Do not feel like, okay, I applied to 10 companies, I got rejected by 10. That's completely okay. All of us do. So do not get disheartened and do not stop applying. Always, always keep applying. And one tiny but is when it comes to like the technical things, do not stop learning. Do not feel that, okay, my undergrad is completed or my master's is completed and I'm done. Data is truly evolving every day. New tools and technologies are coming in, so keep learning and do not get afraid of rejection. So yeah.
Great. Yes. I mean, this applies to people from various industries as well. Yeah, this is a great, great answer again. Yeah. Anyone else wants to take this up?
I can add one point over here. I think most of the people who have joined, they want to move into data engineering, or they are coming from college graduates, right? So I would say find the transferable skills of where you are and where you want to go. I'm sure everyone has something or other point which can be transferred to your data engineering career, whether you're coming from QA background or you're coming from marketing background. You can work on that job and simultaneously build something in data engineering space as a personal project. Let's say you're marketing, you can anytime go to your people to your team and ask some insights, ask some dashboard data, and scrap it, build something on top of it, create a solution, show them back that I built something over this. Or if you're working in QA in data or in software engineering, you can always play around with data and see what are the common skills which you can convert and bring to data engineering. You don't always have to leave your job and start from scratch to move to data engineering. You can start from where you are.
Hmm. Yes, Tulsi, you were also saying something, right?
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
going to come next to you then.
I'll just add like one thing, which actually like this advice was given to me from my last manager with the team in which I had interned. So you know what? So a lot of times when we just start our careers, then we are basically given tasks that you have to complete this task, and or maybe like bits of some projects that you have to take ownership for that. So because this is coming from my personal experience, what happened to me, so we are so much like we get lost in the process of just completing that task, which could be maybe transferring or onboarding this data set, or like very similar, you know, some small pieces, that we stop actually looking at the whole picture, that the fact that you are, if you're onboarding this, why are you actually even doing it, like what is the ultimate thing that you are doing, why are you even doing that, right? What is the business problem? And I know it sounds very cliche, but like this happened to me also when I started, and this will take like people will have to take extra time out to actually understand and get the answers of these questions, like if I'm doing this, so why? And we will have to like reach out to people that please make me understand what is the root cause, or why did it even start. So we will have to do our homework, right? Because this will not come with the task assigned to us, you know, they will be just asked and you have to complete it. So I think my only advice would be to take out time and then understand what you are doing, exactly what it is leading to, because that will give us the motivation to, okay, if I did this, so that solved this problem, and I actually was a part of it. Because of me, like in a way, this is solved. So if it generated a revenue, so I was a part of it, right? If I solve this DQ issue, so a lot of pipelines were failing because of this, so I was actually responsible in a way to fix this. So I think this, if we work with this mentality, so you know, we won't be like we won't ever feel that it's boring or something like that, and especially in the early career. So yeah, that is the only piece of advice.
Great. Yes. Jyoti, yes.
Okay, I have two advices. I'll go one by one. So first is on the career progression. As Harsha mentioned, you have your mentors, and so whenever you join any company, there would be one senior who would always be answering all your questions, or a buddy assigned, or a mentor. But after 2, 3 years of working, you will realize that you are at the same level as them, or you have acquired enough knowledge. So it's okay to outgrow your mentors. You can go ahead and find new mentors. It's fine. And it's not disrespectful to them. They would be proud to see you grow. So, unless they are jealous, but that's a different context. Okay, so first, it's okay to outgrow your mentors. And second is one early manager of mine gave me one advice, said that the baby that cries the loudest gets fed first, which means that see, data engineering roles specifically, we work behind the scenes mostly because the users would be interacting with the dashboards or the UIs that is built on top of it. The SMEs or the business analysts would be talking with the business stakeholders to get the requirements. So your work is usually not the one that comes in the front. So adding to what Tulsi was saying, that you should be able to articulate the work that you are doing. So it can be anything like what issues you solved, how much data you managed to move, how what is your contribution. It should always be there and it should always be measurable. So share details in terms of KPIs and numbers, whether it's showing how much data we have processed, how quickly we have resolved issues, or how many business critical processes we support. Concrete metrics always make your contributions undeniable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, that is great. Tejasri has another question, but Tejasri, we are way beyond our time. So, the panelists, their LinkedIn IDs are added on the platform itself. You can reach out to any one of them. I'm pretty sure, these girls are very supportive and very enthusiastic to answers, and they will be able to answer your doubts. And I think we are at the end of the webinar. So thank you so much for joining. And before we drop off, I will also just give a heads up about OLake, what we basically are doing. Not getting much into it, but we have also launched feedback. Physics Wala actually just gave a feedback about us and why we are serving, as a platform which is better than Debezium plus Kafka. So would love for you guys to check that out. It is on LinkedIn, and if you do have any questions about us, which by the way we are solving for a problem to replicate databases into data lake houses, and we are trying to do in the fastest manner possible, and we have gotten some great benchmarks for that. So join us, join our community on Slack. We have a lot of community meetups going on, events like this, and webinars like this, and upcoming events also. So anyone who is willing to know more, they can join our Slack community and follow us on LinkedIn as well. And of course, I am very much approachable on LinkedIn. So feel free to ping me if you want any sort of answers to any sort of doubts, or if you're just curious about what we are doing here. So yes, I mean, that's the end, I believe. And we have seen so many questions flowing in, and this is the first time I have actually extended the webinar for so long. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining in, and thank you so much, panelists. You guys have been amazing and super informative. So I just wish we will just be connected, and we host webinars like this in the future as well. And yes, I mean, uh, thank you so much again. Anything that you guys want to share about yourself, or about anything that you want to just have the floor.
I think it was a great session. Thank you, Harsha, and I really hope that people who join they find it useful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And feel free to reach out if you have any more questions on LinkedIn. So yeah, that's okay. Just message.
Okay, yes. Great.
Thanks,
Thank you
Harsha,
so
for
much.
this seamless platform, and I loved hearing to all these ladies. It's amazing. Even I learned a lot in this session.
Yes, me too. Me too. I mean, I learned a lot today. So, yes, I mean, the questions that we have received also, like, I think a lot of people learned a lot. And yes, we will soon hear the feedback as well, which I would be, most likely to share with you guys. So, yes, I mean, uh, I guess it's the time to drop off. Thank you so much, ladies, and good night.
Thank
Bye.
Thank
you
you.
all.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.